Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny. We're traveling along. Pay no union dues or smoke old stories I have found. Short, but not too big around. I'm a man, baby, back home on an old meadow and farm. Walking my baby back home. We go along, counting on hope for my best. After I kinda straighten my tie, she has to borrow my comb. One kiss and it's a pleasure again. Walking my baby.
If you can just kind of grab my attention beforehand. Yeah, if I get busy, just stay there and just say.
Go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along me. Spacious skies, majesty, above the fruited plains, American sea to shine.
Please remain state and community service in honor of those our nation lost. Honor Guard, uniform personnel, present.
Oh, say, can you see our flag was still there? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Or
to heal and to help each other, may we remember your faithfulness and learn to trust in your unfailing love. In remembrance of that tragic day, help us to be people of hope who embrace a belief that a new vision of justice and mercy and harmony is possible.
Comes out kind of hard. All right, well, thank you for that nice introduction, Tom. And this is the first time since I retired 10 years ago to put on this uniform. I wasn't going here. Every one of you have experiences. If you're older than about 25, you know exactly where you were when you found out or saw or heard. I was part of the NORAD business, looking for missiles or airplanes that were going to penetrate our airspace. Scramble fighters go out, figure out their intentions. So all at once, we had to shoot down an airliner. It was hopefully going to be the president's decision based on what he knew. If there wasn't timely enough to do that, it was a freeway type traffic, and people see you in a uniform, they stop and motion you to go across 4 or 5 or 6 lanes of traffic. It was just the civilian.
I know your life on earth faced trouble. In the dark, our country grieved, but you were brave. So go
That was beautiful and inspiring. Thank you very much. Mayor Gomes, I know you were here earlier. Okay. There he is. So Mayor Jeff Gomes has been the mayor of the city for a number.
All of the law enforcement and first responders that showed up here today. As a retired fire chief, every one of you men and women have a very special place in my heart and always will have. Thank you. Memorials to remember 9/11. We remember, unquote. The purpose of this memorial is to perpetuate the future generations.
Here for Apple Days. And so that's how it started. And during dinner last night, David made it very clear, and there's many of these instances, frankly, that if that meeting had not happened, very likely we would not have the memorial here. It would have gone someplace else. Ultimately, we were one of 3 final cities that were being looked at by So I'm going to read the plaque that we're giving. Last year was the first award, and John Jackson, who founded this whole thing right after 9/11, received.
David could have driven the thousands of miles around.
Has been alluded here today, a lot of people are responsible for what we're looking at up here today. And awards are nice to have, but when somebody individually receives an award, there's probably 5,000 people behind that person. Leah, who will last into eternity. Because I asked John, I said, John, you don't even know me, you're going to trust me with this? And he said, I absolutely trust you. He said, you've got the fire in your eyes to take this to Eastern Washington. But for me and Gail, the ultimate person that deserves the credit and the honor and the glory is our Lord Jesus Christ, who without him sustaining us, without him being in the forefront of every person we interviewed, and every person we talked to, and every mile that we traveled, this all would have been for naught. So we give God and Jesus the honor and the glory. We lived with these statues for 16 months. And in that 16 months, we became very intimate with them. And so Gail, in the time of going around to all the places, Gail eventually gave special names to each of the statues. We go to the airline steward, and we come to this young lady. She is an office worker that represents all of the civilians that died in all the capacities on that tragic day. So, as we went around and we learned more and more about what each of these statues represented, I had a speech that I gave every time somebody wanted to hear about the memorial. And I will say thank you for this honor today, and I will end my speech because our country right now is facing 2 tragedies of immense proportions, the hurricanes in Texas, Louisiana, Florida. So it's still another tragedy that this country faces. But my closing remarks at every speech that I gave is regardless of the tragedy, whether it's a hurricane, a flood, a tornado, or a terrorist attack, regardless of the nature of that tragedy, Americans always rise above that tragedy. And when we rise above that tragedy, we don't look down, we don't look back, but like our 4 representatives that represents everything that our country stands for, we look to the future with hope, strength, determination, and faith, and thank a gracious and loving God above for the wonderful freedoms that this country so enjoys. Thank you very much.
Everyone knows exactly where they were that day. I was a chief fire officer serving the Department of Defense, evacuating personnel and rescuing the injured. I finished dressing. We were all crammed into our alarm room on a small television set. No sound because we were managing the airfield and needed to monitor radio stations. I want you to have your best day ever, not only because you deserve it personally, but each and every responder that died that day that cannot respond wants you to have your best day. May God bless each and every one of you, and may His grace shine upon us all. Thank you.
Also would like to thank each and every one of our participants and attendees for your presence here today. We appreciate your interest and support of Cashmere and Chelan County's tribute to the lives lost on 11 September 2001 and our continuing effort to tell that story. Please join us in the Riverside Center if possible, as there will be some light refreshments and our two founding fathers, if you will. John Jackson and David Lewis will share some of their stories and meaningful events that started this memorial effort over 5 years ago. And with that, we hope to see you next year for hopefully our dedication of phase 2 of this memorial. Have a wonderful and memorable Patriots Day. Thank you.